Okay, I think we're live. Anyone want to double check? Last time we had some issues. Yeah, we're
Our
live.
standard
Okay.
tagline, are we live? We are live.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Sorry about the last minute changes. Hopefully you saw my announcement. We're starting a little bit later than usual. Unfortunately, our guest Ivan couldn't make it today, so we're going to reschedule that and we will be uh, recording at a later date. But given that it's our last 1 billion builds of the year, it's kind of funny that everything is getting jumbled around. We're just going to reflect on some cool projects that we've seen, and I think it's going to be a little bit short and sweet today. And yeah, Harish, would you like to say anything, introduce what we're going to
Yeah,
talk
I think it's probably because we've spoken to Ivan twice this week and he's gotten tired of us. So we'll
about?
just connect with them at the end of the Avalanche or the Morales Hackathon, Avalanche Hackathon at the end of January. So we'll talk a little bit about the events that are currently going on, but we'll also reflect on some of the projects that we saw come out of previous hackathons over the past year. And sort of relive some of the great ones and hopefully pave the path for what should be a pretty exciting 2022. Let's see if you can see this is my holiday sweater. It's
Very
just
nice.
absolutely awful. There's a couple of stockings that have been stitched onto the sweater.
Oh, I
There's
should have done that
cats.
myself. That's like
Yeah,
DIY.
exactly.
I should have just done that. So we have to
Yeah.
go to a holiday party and I have literally like nothing to
This has
wear.
been around for 10 years, so it's every year I've tried to add to it, but things have just sort of fallen off. But
It's a really good idea.
that that
I just wrap
that
myself in lights.
that's right. That seems to work. But let's start with what we shipped yesterday, shipping Wednesday. So do you want to talk a little bit about XY equals K? What is that, and what did we ship?
Yeah, sure. So I'll, if you saw, we have a new commitment, I guess, or like something to look forward to. We're trying to ship at least one kind of product update every month, which has been great because a lot of times it's kind of nothing and then all at once, or this kind of helps us have a good cadence. So yesterday was shipping Wednesday, which is the second Wednesday of every month, and we shipped the XY equals K endpoints. So if you don't know what that is, basically a lot of dexes, like a lot of decentralized exchanges, actually use the same underlying model, which is something that was created by Uniswap, specifically like the V2 protocol when it was still open source. So what actually happened was a lot of people kind of just like copy and pasted that code, like made a couple of tweaks to it because uh, I think it's like 200 lines of code or something that was written that basically like dictates the AMM model. And people have just applied that across different chains to different projects and basically like renamed the exchange. So ones that we've even covered on this show, like Spirit Swap or like Spooky Swap or like Pangolin, like Trader Joe, like they all use this exact same thing that was popularized by Uniswap. So yeah, there's a blog post up on our blog that kind of like goes in a little bit deeper if you'd like to. It's kind of a cool story. And you can watch a video of Ganesh and I explaining it as well. But those are the new endpoints. So the best kind of application that we've seen so far is like multi-chain DEX dashboards. That's kind of like what these are perfect for because it's essentially a way to like aggregate DEX data all in one place. If you combine like the multi-chain aspect of our API and then being able to access those different exchanges that just all work the same way. So yeah, it's a pretty cool story. I would recommend reading the blog post because there's actually a link to the initial like post that was made by Vitalik, like of Ethereum, on a random Reddit forum. Yeah, it's right there if you click Reddit forum above. Yeah. So like it the original post is still there from 2016 when he suggested like he was like, what if we made a decentralized exchange that works like this and basically like predicts on-chain pricing? And then the inventor of Uniswap, this is like how he came up with the idea. He saw it and he was like, oh, cool, I'm going to do this. So it's just kind of fun that there's like a paper trail there that you can actually go back and look through. So yeah, it's a pretty cool innovation. We talked a little bit. So we did have a workshop with Ivan, actually, our guest who was supposed to come today earlier on this week, and that was for the Morales Avalanche Hackathon. And we talked a little bit about Trader Joe. So that's like one of the exchanges that's recently seen a lot of traction on Avalanche. Because previously, I think Pangolin was like their number one DEX. And yeah, we actually just added support for Trader Joe because it also works in this exact same way. So that should be showing up on the docs pretty soon. It's done in the back end, but what happens now is that we just have like a QA process just before everything actually gets like live on the docs. So you should see that pretty shortly, and we'll probably make another announcement around that. But it's kind of exciting because I think that like if you're participating in this hackathon, I think that could be super useful because we support Avalanche, we support Trader Joe, we support Pangolin. So you can do like a lot with that.
I think there's actually a bounty for doing this, so we may have just rendered that bounty to be moot, but we'll see. It's awesome, and it's something that it doesn't take a lot on our end to add to this XY equals K suite of endpoints, which is why it's so powerful. And if there are others that developers are interested in, just add it to the as one of the topics on the governance forum, and we'll look at it, and if it's pretty quick as it should be, we'll add it in.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising how like that innovation can just be repurposed so easily, and it allows us to like add something that's a couple lines. It's actually like not a lot of work, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very powerful endpoint. It's made up of sort of 9 to 10 different specific endpoints. And we've seen teams build entire dexes with very little code by using this endpoint. So it's awesome for that purpose.
Yeah. So if you guys were watching the earlier episodes too, and you were on the Phantom episode where we had Sid from Spirit Swap, they actually like heavily use these endpoints for Spirit Swap's analytics. So if you go to Spirit Swap and you see those pages that like show you all of the volume and you can look at like your own trades basically. Yeah, they use Covalent APIs for that, which is pretty cool. And they actually, I don't know this number like relative to anything, so I guess it doesn't make a whole lot to say, but it seems like a big number. But it looks like they made over like 22 million API calls for Spirit Swap. So yeah,
that's just
like,
one project.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty heavy usage. But yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, go check out the XY equals K blog. There's also a little video that Leilani and Ganesh put together, and this is all part of Shipping Wednesday. So I mean, we already sort of do this. We just haven't sort of publicized it really
exactly.
in this format. So I think that's essentially what we're doing here, is to say, hey, look, there's so much stuff being built by Covalent so rapidly that we just need to take the time to actually showcase some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets lost in the noise.
Exactly. I think going forward, like for the next year, a big focus is to do that exact thing, like clear update on this, clear update on this, clear update on this, instead of just like us going crazy all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, so XY equals K. We've got support now for Trader Joe's. That'll be live in our docs later today, so stay tuned for that. Let's talk a little bit about what this past year was like for us, and some of the projects that we've seen, some of the events that we took part. So it's kind of crazy to think about it. Like when I started last year, which actually feels like almost 10 years ago now. We did like two developer events, and this year we did just about 20. And so, next year we're talking about, scaling that another 10x, where we're, participating or involved in, over 200 events, which is insane, but, really excited to hit that ambitious target. And, really thankful to, some of the big partners that we've had an opportunity to run an event with this past year. So we started with Aave, where we ran our dungeons and data. I feel like we need some like background music or something while we're doing this.
This recap. Last time everybody was like, the audio sounds bad. So
okay, all right. I'll just keep the music in my head here while we're doing this. I'm just thinking, just like It's just ramping up as we get to the crescendo of this year.
Oh,
So
Christmas music on.
yeah,
Darn.
exactly. I think that should be fine. I'll maybe take that up in just a second. But nonetheless, getting distracted here. We started with Aave, which was a fantastic Dungeons and Data that we had an opportunity to run with them. And then, our flagship 1 million wallets, which is sort of our onboarding campaign to bring developers on into different ecosystems that we're introducing them to. We ran quite a few this year. We ran it with Avalanche, we ran it with Phantom, we ran it with RSK, and we've got even a couple more lined up. We actually ran it with Polygon at the beginning of the year as part of Etherpunk. So this is our flagship campaign that runs for multiple weeks. There's large bounties being offered in it, and it's really cool to see how that program has sort of grown from what we sort of stuck together on a static page at the end of December last year to something where now we get sponsors involved, and it kind of runs much more smoothly than I remember the first few tries at it. So that's been awesome to see. Really thankful to have the opportunity to sponsor with ETH Global. So there was a series of those hackathons over the year that we took part in, everything from Hack Money to ETH Online to Web3 Jam, NFT Hack, Scaling Ethereum, HackFS. I think I'm probably missing maybe a couple there, but there's ETH Global is basically a hackathon machine. They have one running every month, basically, or every 2 months, and so it's been great to be a part of that. And then Gitcoin's also run a couple of hackathons that we've been a part of, and of course now we've got the Polygon BUIDL that's been running for almost a month and wrapping up next week. And then the big one, of course, is the Moralis Avalanche one, where now the prizes I think are $500,000. The top three are over 175,000, and it's just crazy. So anyone who's interested in the Web3 space and interested in trying something, this is a fantastic opportunity to get involved and win some prize money. We're sponsoring 10K in that event. It's actually 10K matched by the VC pool of 10K, so 20,000 distributed over 10 projects. So lots of prize money if you want, not just from our end, but all the other sponsors who are helping support it.
Ivan was saying, if you build anything, you'll probably get money.
Exactly.
Like, there's so much funding. It's pretty
crazy.
And
I've just been reaching out to people, and a lot of people are still unaware that this event is happening. So hopefully we help get the message out here. It's definitely one to check out, even if it's just sort of dabbling in trying something for the first time. They're very low downside for doing so.
Yeah, totally. It's a pretty welcoming space in general. I feel like a lot of the hackathons that I've seen before I started getting into this world, I thought it was so intimidating, and like even the name hackathon just makes it sound like really intense, and like it's just a whole bunch of like shadowy super coders and stuff. But it's like
so that's a great segue into one of the upcoming events actually on Saturday. If people are interested. So it requires no coding really. It's Codeless Con. Let me just bring it up here.
Yeah, this is a cool one. I feel like we'll see more and more of these codeless hackathons now that like tools are a little more user friendly. Like even our API is a no code solution. So like, you're actually it's pretty.
So you can use our API in analyst mode. You can extract data in spreadsheet format or tabular format, and then use whatever data analysis tool you might be comfortable with. But this is happening on this Saturday, December 11th, and it'll run for about 7 hours. Relatively low commitment, and you get a chance to dabble in the Web3 space and explore some of the tools and be able to do all of this without requiring any code.
That's super cool. Yeah, that's perfect for a lot of people. I feel like in school, we're seeing more and more participants, I think, that are like currently in university, or they're doing a variety of different degrees. But I think a lot of young people are really the ones recognizing like the possibilities in Web3. So events like these are really perfect, or events geared to university students, or like pretty much everyone knows Excel, so you could do something with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and even just like the definition of developer is quite broad in terms of the skill set. So even just knowing some of the basics, you can actually do quite a bit. Even knowing what an API is, and hopefully if you explore that, you look up what a Covalent API is and try to use that.
Unified API.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have a couple new chains that we're supporting, so maybe we can quickly talk about that before we dive into some of the highlights of the year.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot coming up. And it's funny, there's a lot that's kind of bottlenecked right around this end of the year, but our office shuts down on the 17th. So you might
see mad scramble to get things done.
And you might see some of it early January. You might get a whole bunch of stuff happening. But some of the new chains you've probably seen on our socials, IoTex. We just announced our integration with them. So that's underway, which is super cool. Also Sheeden, which is like it's like Astar Networks chain. And then our Ronin should be, if you've been following that, we passed the governance proposal, we indexed Ronin. It's just awaiting like final quality assurance as well before it shows up on the docs. So I know we've had a lot of questions about that. But like all of these things, they always spend a period in the back end where they're done, but just being tested. So that should show up pretty shortly, I think. And then, I think so it's going to be a really interesting couple months, focusing a lot more on like the non-EVM chains lately to just kind of do something different, because the EVM ones have actually become pretty like, I think we got a lot of the big names and like adding the
routine to implement.
Is something that we're like, I don't want to say easy because I don't think it's easy, but like it's a standard process now. Whereas the non-EVM ones are, So obviously Solana is another one of those you can look forward to, and you've probably heard us saying that a million times that Aurelian is working on it.
So both with IoTex and I think even Clayton, we're actually going to be running hackathons with them in sort of late mid Q1, so February, March timeframe. So we're just sort of working to the early planning stages there, but we're really excited. IoTX is sort of a very interesting one where they've actually got hardware. So there is something called a Pebble, and they've also got a camera. And both of those pieces of hardware are basically storing data on blockchain. So it's going to be really interesting to dive into the data for these two networks and sort of see what information we're able to get and also display and how to display it. There's some really cool use cases there.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't even know that. It's like a hard hackathon.
Indeed. Okay, let's show some projects. That's always the fun part of this. So I'm pretty sure I can guess which ones are your favorites, but I'm going to just pull up a few that I've sort of seen over the year in no sort of apparent order. But so we've got Monkey Dash. I always like this one because it's so simple and it's silly and it's just really well done actually in terms of just the design. And so again, this is sort of part and parcel of this wallet concept where anyone can create their own custom wallet very easily using our API. None of all this data is just on-chain data being read. And this team here created a beautiful mobile app for being able to quickly and effectively seeing balances in different currencies, as well as some charting and some other little features there. So like I always like showing this one here for a wallet app. There was this other project, Burst NFT, which had a very interesting concept, and I think they've sort of taken it and developed it a bit further. I'm still waiting to sort of hear on what the latest status is. But the idea was you could take a basket of like ERC20 tokens and create an NFT that would be sort of tradable with a value based on the underlying basket of ERC20 tokens. So it's almost like a mutual fund or like an ETF of some sort, but in sort of this new digital, NFT format that you could use and trade and stuff. So this tool here allows you to take a few different tokens and then wrap it into a basket that you can then, create your as your NFT. So pretty cool, really cool concept. And I'm hoping that they've taken this project a little bit further from where they were with the last hackathon that we saw them at. Again, more wallets, just being able to, quickly and effectively, generate wallets, load wallets. I think we've basically proven that wallets are just a commodity at this point here. And, everyone can effectively create one. This is going to be one of our core areas of focus for 2022 with sort of onboarding developers into this space, is just showing them how simple it is to be able to build your own wallet. Another one here, Phantom, that was designed. This one here, I think it may not be loading as it was, but this was actually internal. Yeah, it was one of our interns that built this, where the idea was you kind of had a 3D model of your wallet and displayed with like orbitals and
so cool.
and atoms and molecules and whatnot. I see there's something trying to render here, but it looks like it's maybe not quite functioning as it was. And then of course the NES wallet here, which is still one of my like highlights in terms of, I don't think you can hear the audio, but they've got the Mario Brothers track to this, as everything is sort of designed and themed accordingly.
Yeah, that is so fun. Like, it's so true. The design makes such a big difference if you're doing like a kind of an entry-level project or any sort of thing in a hackathon. Like, design can elevate it so much and make you stand out.
Very much so. Yeah, I know there's a lot of focus on just getting the underlying sort of tooling or backend infrastructure or sort of the nuts and bolts of a project in place, but enough can't be said about spending a little bit of time on the front end to make it look nice. Definitely catches people's attention. We saw Degen Dogs. This was a really cool one that combines NFTs and DeFi. So being able to mint or basically purchase your DeFi dog and then sort of have different sort of streaming elements in place depending on whether you're it looks like if you're the 10th owner of a dog, for example, there's a certain percentage of the proceeds that go to you. So they just added this sort of gamification, interesting sort of streaming elements to this DeFi space, tying it with NFTs. So really, really well done. There was this Easy Web3, which is a really cool project. I don't know if it's gone too much further, but I really hope they've continued to build this. So imagine taking like a Webflow or like a WordPress, content management system, but this is for Web3, and you can pick different elements that are Web3, essentially Web3 components. So you've got like a LivePeer component, a Zora component, a price component, a Telegram component, and then you can just literally drag and drop these components into your space here to create your Web3 web page, essentially, Web3 application very quickly. So I was really impressed how well this was done. And this was a relatively short hackathon that they built this out in, which was remarkable.
That's so creative too. Like, it's a different idea than I've seen. It's really smart.
Yeah, just all sort of pre-built components. Yeah, exactly. That are already in place. We talked a little bit about Trader Joe's, and I think there's probably a few that you want to highlight in terms of NFT marketplaces and galleries and displays that we've talked about quite a bit. But are there any that you'd like to show?
I think I've shown the walkthrough gallery a lot of times.
Yeah. You've mastered walking through that front door.
Yeah, I think I've actually been pretty good at it. Seashells is one of the ones that I forget if we've actually showed it on here. We showed it somewhere else. Using Unity, which I think is cool. I would love to see like more of those. I can show it really quickly if you want to stop sharing. I forget if I've shown it on here, but basically like you enter this underwater setting, and then it's like a 3D NFT display, and you just put in like any random ID, and then it'll like fetch this NFT, and you can like, it's kind of more real life and interactive. You can walk around it. It's kind of cool with the audio as well, and you can just switch these numbers, and then it'll show you like different ones. So I thought this was super
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah, like I think it works with this one collection basically, but you could build off this for sure. And like any sort of collection you could input and do something similar where you just like display a particular collection in a really cool way. I love seeing that sort of application, or like anything gamified. I just think it's super interesting. I'm seeing a lot more talk about that lately in general. And I think
gamification is definitely going to be a big trend, I think, for the next couple of years at least. We're seeing sort of hobby projects implement this, but imagine when the big players actually start to leverage Web3.
Yeah, like I would love to see a hackathon that's entirely for game developers or something. That would be really cool. Yeah, I'm just conscious of our time because we can only go till 8 today. So
no problem. I think I think we covered all the interesting projects, and of course, go back to the blog. There's all the projects are showcased there, and we'll continue to showcase more of these. The goal is to have a bit more of a polished, showcase website where all the projects are going to be displayed. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch next year. I think like updating balances endpoint, later on in the year, like hopefully doing class C, doing more like community built projects, having more.
Don't forget the Covalent network.
Obviously that.
It's just we talked about it so much, it's just buried into our conscious that of course that's a no-brainer. Yeah, exactly.
So if you haven't seen the latest episode of Stake in the City, we just published the last one. So episode 3, which is validator viewpoint, just kind of wrapping up and talking about what's next. And then single-sided staking is expected to actually launch end of January. So pretty exciting.
Oh man. Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to earn some yields on that precious CKT, and also help launch our public good here, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 1 minute. So
is that the holiday wrap?
Yeah.
What are you going to do for that? What are you doing over the holidays?
I don't know yet. I might actually go to Mexico, but I'm not 100% sure.
So for those of you like listening in, Lay's just been like dying to get out of rainy Vancouver. So anything that she can do to go anywhere warm, she's going to do it. So I fully expect her to be in Mexico.
I probably will. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Good stuff. Well, enjoy your holidays, your downtime, much deserved, and we will be back in the new year, maybe with a slightly different format, but are definitely going to be pushing content quite heavily and trying to engage the community with this rapidly evolving and exciting space of Web3. So looking forward to this journey with everyone here.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching and joining us on these. Appreciate the feedback always. And we'll see you soon.
And they can still get their POAP, right?
Yeah, I'll do another quiz for this too. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Have a nice day.